Sue writes you something that, states that probably an 8-hour day every other Friday,
That'd be good.
you'd be comfortable, and then
Yeah,
everything funneled through Royce. If he has any
Yeah.
questions, he'll set them aside to that Friday when you come in.
Yeah, because there's 30, you got 30 days to respond to an abatement request anyway. And
Yeah.
I'd rather see the abatement request than trying to, it's gonna sound bad, but this is the way it needs to be done, is, we'll work with somebody, or we're gonna,
Well, no, you need
You need
paper
to-
trail through everything. You really
As
do.
assessors-
no
because if you
matter
don't,
what.
you're compromising their rights.
That's right.
We have to look at stuff
Yeah.
differently as assessors anyways. You gotta be objective, right?
Right.
We've gotta keep it that way, even though we communicate.
If it's- Here's what I'm saying now, I guess. If there's a question, how did you get there? That's different than, come look at my property because I think you're wrong. Nope.
Right.
At that point, I need you to file the abatement
Right.
request.
Right.
And that hasn't always happened in the past, but that's where it needs to go. Yeah.
Paul, do you have a question?
How many people could you talk to comfortably on a Friday? I know it depends on, but I mean,
What
Depends on what it
the
is.
question
There's a
is.
lot of these questions that some of them are gonna take 5 minutes, some of them
Yeah,
take
I-
an hour.
Well, I mean, if you gotta go look at the
Some of them
property,
take
if I gotta look at the property, maybe I'd be able to do it on a Friday or something, we'd have to figure, this is all new, you know what I mean? But to me, it's kinda similar to like your code officer right now, he's got certain hours he's in here, certain time he's,
Yes.
Can go
I
out.
think that's better for the public.
yeah, and I think you'd be better off to do that, because then if, whoever, say you came in, Paul, and said, I got a question, I want you to come look at my property, I can do it today, 1 o'clock, so still get it done, but at least you're here covering the office.
But would that be at the same rate of pay as when you're out assessing? Would that be, so you'd be charging, what is it, $28 or?
36.
36, so $36 for you to come in, like whether you have any questions here or not?
Yep. Because there's other work to be done on trail.
Yes, yeah.
And I'm not out, I'm obviously a taxpayer, so I'm not out, I wrote the budget last year for the most part, so I know what it should be, I'm not out to put screws to anybody.
36 is really
So if I-
reasonable considering other.
But if I start seeing, I think to answer her question more directly, if we start seeing that, okay, Ben's just sitting here twiddling thumbs, which isn't gonna happen, I'm gonna come back and say to you guys, there's not a whole lot going on right now, let's knock this down. I'm not looking to put screws to anybody, but like you say, I mean, that's reasonable price. They actually get more than that.
We do. Yeah. Well, good. So Sue will write something up for us and we'll sign it and then or she'll send it to you and we'll sign it.
Yeah, let's look at it first and then we'll go,
Yeah,
yeah. As
that'd
long
be
as,
great.
it's been a couple
Yeah.
weeks and I haven't heard anything, and then a couple confusing
Well,
conversations
yeah, and
maybe.
we had talked about it in-house and then, because I've been gone for a week, so, yeah, it's been a little bit crazy, but.
Is there a way that you can post on your website the days that Ben is gonna be at the office?
Well, once he
So that
starts
the
on
summer
Fridays,
people-
Yeah.
The summer
yeah,
people?
but it would only be,
Oh, finish later.
Yes,
Well,
yes, we can post it, yes.
Okay, thank you.
I mean, if there's little things, I mean, this is where, I'm okay with that. Royce and I have spoken as well. I mean, you got things right now, let's say code officer throws stuff at you, you're stuck in a matrix system that's kind of screwy, but it's easy to follow, big house, little house, whatever, baloney. That's easy to follow, but I want to be involved with everything because we need to start doing it the right way. So it's not a bad idea to run things through. That's fine if the questions come through. You've been CCing both of us, and I think that's smart anyway, because if I got something to jump in and say. But I think the only thing I would say different than what we've kind of been doing the last couple of weeks is before you approach somebody, if you want to run a question by me or something, because there's a couple of things that the answer's already out there. If it's huge, then I'm gonna go back and call them back.
I got about 4 of them right now.
That's fine. I mean, I just don't want to be sitting there telling them one thing when you've already told them something different. That's not good.
Nope, that's the wrong way to do it.
So,
I didn't really get an answer. He's just gonna do the water.
Welcome to the club.
not according to me.
No, he's gonna
No,
work
that's-
on all the other stuff that needs to get done too
On
while he's
everything?
here, yes.
Oh, all right. as
Because
long as
he'll
I
be
know.
here and at least he can, it's good.
I wanna
We
know
work
what's
with
going
Sue
on,
with
that's
changes
all.
and, yeah.
So while Ben's here, what is the next step? You did mobile homes, you did waterfront. So is there a continuing on step now where Ben will be assessing commercial properties? Is he going to be assessing,
Well, no, not.
is there a plan to continue with this? Why would you only assess mobile homes and waterfront property and then not assess anybody
that's
else?
different.
We
You're
haven't
talking
crossed
about
that
that.
bridge yet.
She's talking about a reval,
Right,
partial
right,
revals,
right.
which are
Revals,
scheduled by
sorry.
state law. So, I mean, yeah, you're gonna have Dollar General that's gonna need to be looked
Right.
at. You got a couple
That's
things
what I'm
going on.
saying.
You know,
Thank you
so
for
that's part of the
understanding.
normal assessing, yes.
So that's
do a
what I'm
full
asking.
reval,
Who is going to be responsible
That's
for the
way more
next
than one
step
person
in
can handle.
assessing?
It is way more than one person.
Way more than one person.
So
That's
who
something
is,
that we have to discuss if we want to put that out to bid or what we want to do, because it's going to have to get done in the future.
right. Well, that's what I'm saying. You really shouldn't wait until
It's a budget.
like May 1st to,
Yeah, we'll
I mean,
get
that's
there.
something that has to be looked at shortly because you've done your mobile homes, you've done your waterfront. You can't sit accused of singling out 2 sections of your town without reevaluating the rest of it.
You're right.
My suggestion would be to request bids, as most
Soon.
people out there know they're gonna, now, and then you can put it on the ballot, knowing that, hey, it's gonna be X number of dollars, and then the town can say no, and then you just say, hey, they voted no, we don't have the money to pay you, I'm sorry.
Right.
Kind of thing. Or we do,
Well,
And I think the difference will be too, like I've said before, no, it hasn't passed in the past, voters in the past, but I think it's just because people don't understand. I think if you have somebody stand up front and explain why and how this affects their taxes, and it's required by state law.
I was going to say, it's a law. You have to do that revaluation. So it's not really, it's not really a choice. We're going to face fines and fees as a town if we don't finish up with what's been started.
Okay, so
May I-
I'm
may I-
better, I just wanted to know better where we were.
You got that all done? Okay. I just wanted to know, is there a difference between a buildable lot and a non-buildable lot as far as taxation?
As far as valuation?
Yes.
Not necessarily, but we're not there as a town. But improvements, any improvements on a property. So a non-buildable, you're saying strip bare land.
Yeah.
But now you have, look, there's
A
different.
2-acre lot that is completely buildable versus 1 acre lot. How,
No, your base lot in town is 2 acres and under.
okay,
Your problem we have in the town right now is there is no grandfathering.
that's exactly what I'm getting to.
So my intention, and I didn't know where we're going to be tonight, but as an assessing end of it, that's important. If it was just as a citizen with the knowledge that I have, I want to get in touch with the appeals board, planning board, and codes, and you guys, but we need to pound something out for it.
More your budget.
But it needs to be addressed in the next May.
Yeah, it's a big problem. And I hear people always saying, well, I'm being taxed as a buildable lot. Well, I don't know if they are or they're not. And that's why I
Your base
asked
lot's
the
going to be the
question.
same in any improvements, because that's why you have land and you have buildings.
Right,
What we should also be doing, we're not yet, but we should be, if there's a empty lot with a well and septic, with just a well, it's got more value. With a well and septic, it's got more value, even though
even
there's
though you
no house there yet.
can't build on it?
Well, no, I mean, that's where we have a problem with the grandfather.
That's exactly what I'm saying,
We have a
yeah.
problem with the grandfather, yeah.
Okay, all right, that kind of answers my question.
Which, we have those on the waterfront right now, which there is no difference in value that I've been able to find from sales
Uh-huh.
to say, we got a problem and it's gonna come to a head real fast, where we just reevaluate the waterfront, so we need to grab the cat by the tail and take care of this problem.
So can we maybe get a meeting together sooner rather than later?
I'm all for it.
Okay. Mike could also get on one.
I mean, it's wise to have planning board, I don't know under whose guise or whose meeting we wanna do that, but every planning, appeals should be there, and code should be there.
Well, how would you, in what capacity would you be there? Because
Assessments too as well, but also just general knowledge of
just
how this town's
as the
running.
general public, not as part of the actual
Well,
meeting?
maybe planning board, actually.
I think it's planning board.
I think it's planning
But
board.
I'm gonna request a meeting with planning board and then,
As a citizen?
That's fine,
As a
whatever.
citizen? I'm just asking how you would
From
approach
assessment, it's gonna, it
that.
still affects the assessments too.
So as the assessing agent for the waterfront, because that's kind of what you were
Whatever
already.
floats someone's boat, be honest
All right,
with
so if you get a
Whatever works, same
planning board and ask them, if you would, if they would,
set up an agenda or
set
something.
an agenda up.
You guys okay with that? I mean, I guess too, I mean, it needs to be done, gotta approach that.
Yeah, it's just a Pandora's box every time we turn around.
Because you get the questions right now on the assessment end of it, so, will I own an empty lot on the water, is it buildable? As an assessor, as selectman assessors, you can't answer that.
I can't.
Gotta go to codes. But all we're really doing with our citizens of the town is sending them on chasing their tail, and that's not
Oh,
okay.
yeah, till they get to the appeal board and they hate us.
They're telling me that if someone asks you guys that question,
It's not their authority.
I have,
Code enforcement.
you go to code enforcement first. And he knows if you can build on the lot.
Mhm.
And if he says he doesn't know, where does he go?
He gets to find out.
Finds out.
Finds out.
You got state
And then if
laws.
you don't like your
Town
answer, then you
laws.
go to appeals board.
Right, that's his job.
And
to
if you
make
don't
that
like their
decision.
answer, you can go to Superior Court.
Do you want me to, you said you had 4 things right now, do you want me to hang out and look at those tonight, or?
I think maybe, are you available tomorrow?
Honestly, better for me tonight,
Okay,
if we got time.
all right. I'll make
Sue's
time.
gonna write you something, then you'll let her know what schedule you want, what, every other Friday, so we can get it posted,
Yep.
so that way.
Do you wanna start right away, I guess, too? Be,
Probably, if he's got
December,
things waiting, let's,
December, Charlie, or, I don't even know where we're at.
Do you have to make a
Next week's
oh, because
Thanksgiving.
next week's Thanksgiving, December, yeah.
Do you have to make a motion to do that?
Yeah, we can in just a second, just,
Yeah.
I know, it's almost December. All right, so I guess I make a motion that, well, Sue's gonna write the
No,
letter.
you're gonna
You
do
got-
it.
I don't need to because you're gonna,
Well, you guys are
approve the
gonna
letter,
have to
then we'll have to
sign
sign it and make that then, okay, that's
Oh,
fine.
yeah.
it. You're gonna sign
absolutely.
it, and then we're gonna present it to him, right?
Yes, yeah.
Or am I giving it to Ben, and then you guys are gonna sign it?
Let Ben review it, see if it's, and then he'll send it back yes or no, and then you can print it, and then we'll
Okay.
sign it, and then
All
have him
right.
come in and we'll do it at that point.
Okay,
That'll work well.
Negotiation.
Oh, my goodness, well, crazy.
so are you making a motion or not?
No, no. No,
Okay.
crazy motions.
So after the meeting, I'll sit down with you. We'll do it that way.
If it ever
Those
ends.
things that Sue,
It's a long one
are they the
tonight.
same ones? What, he's got the 4, are they the same we talked about this morning?
No, I don't think so. I gave him 2.
So that makes 6 then, that you need to look at, I
abatements.
guess, okay. And Cipriano's, I still gotta come up with a complete value on that. I got the laptop back today, so I can pull that up and. I
Right.
don't have everything.
No, I
memorized,
gave him
but,
2,
yeah.
and I don't think you and I talked about those 2 this morning.
And they were fine, I went, I met them at their property and walked through the property with them and really easy.
Yeah, and like I said, when they came in, they
I
were,
haven't seen anything, I haven't had any issue, I know there's a couple floating around, but they haven't done anything yet, as far as abatement requests. Every question, every abatement request, everything's been fairly simply explained, and I haven't found anybody upset yet.
I have something that's not assessing, but you might help from it's coming out of a different time.
Okay,
Cemetery Road.
yeah,
Didn't we discuss that at one point? where
Yep.
We've got a landowner that's questioning where they are, whether that is a
Town?
public road or town road,
where the line
but
is.
not
We
maintained.
but
discussed
not
that like a year
even
ago.
though it's not
It's been
maintained.
discussed, and now somebody's trying to sell their house on that road, and he needs something for the bank. And,
I'd have to dig, it's like a year ago, I remember there was a conversation.
I didn't
It
know
was,
if you had
having to
the
do
number.
with the snowmobile or ATV club or whatever it was at the time.
that's right, because they wanted to continue
Right.
I don't know if we
further on or
actually,
something.
in my head, because I did excess reading, obviously, and I might have come across the court cases, what's it jiggling
Well,
around in my head, that,
I'll try to find something then. Mike and I looked through all the old town reports for around that time frame, from 1960 to 65, and we couldn't
Bog
find
Road,
anything.
the whole Bog Road thing, which was
Yes.
before my time, it's out there on the internet, because it was something to do with judicial question or something. I found this too, the Cemetery Road one, so I'd have to look whether it was in
I'll go back and
emails,
see
whether we
if I
talked
can
about it,
find
or
it.
just something I found after the
I
fact.
thought
I don't
they ended
remember.
up not being able to use it, and
They
that would make it
did.
as private property.
But that was a different situation,
Okay.
going through at the end of the property.
Okay, any more questions for Ben, because we have Harrison at 5 or so.
Mm-hmm.
You good?
I on the button almost, Chris.
So, well,
10 minutes.
That's not bad.
all right, Harrison,
Yeah,
you're up, yeah.
I came in about basically right to know and the ethics policy. I made out a right to know request 3 that I put in, and I haven't received one of them back. I submitted 3 right to know requests on October 6th. I submitted them. On October 11th, I received an email from Mr. Miles saying he received them. On October 14th, I got one saying he was still working on it. October 24th, all ready for pickup, and he mentioned no price. October 25th, I said to him, replied, please send electronically. later that day, I can send them electronically, but there's a charge of $15.
Yes, let me go get Jordan.
$15?
Jordan's gone. He's gone. I hear you saying.
The heck did you order? A book? $15?
We see you later.
$15.
Wow,
Didn't cost me anything.
that's what happened.
Oh, no, I've submitted.
You know, Jordan's
over
been
the
in
years.
school for the right to know, and the right to know says if it takes you a certain amount of time, more than, and I'm
If
not.
it takes you more than an hour.
Yes.
Okay, so, for one thing, the one that he said that he's charging me $15 for, I've never got it. And that was the one where I asked for the hours that he worked with the interim treasurer.
Because he's waiting for you to come in and pay for it, and then he'll give it to you, I believe. But he's not here, so I can't answer that, but I believe that's exactly what it is.
Well, I don't see how there's any way that, how could, all I asked for was, how many days did you work together with the interim treasurer, Ms. Ricks?
He's gonna pull all that out.
That shouldn't take more than an hour. He's only been here since June.
I'm not gonna sit here and argue about Jordan, he's not present, so what we need to do
Okay,
is
but
have a
I'm letting
meeting
you
with
know,
Jordan.
I have poured over selectmen's salary minutes, and I've spent 2 or 3 hours back there doing it myself, and I would have done that myself. So there's no way that all I need, you know, how long did she work about? Maybe 2 months, or I don't know.
No.
1 month, 2 months? I'd like to know. But the point is, all you have to do is look, he worked, she left in August, he came on in June, 12 weeks. How can that take you 2 hours?
He's new.
You guys are being awful, that's all I'm gonna say. Let Jordan come in and defend himself.
All right.
Let him come in and defend himself, not you, I'm just saying, we don't need to be rude
But
and
no,
say
you-
those
I mean,
things.
He's new. Maybe he doesn't know where to look for something.
That's not how you imply it, Mary, and that's.
That's how I
it's-
meant
No, but here's my only point. In the future, in the past, I have gotten many right to know. I just heard these people over here saying they've gotten right to know. They've never been charged. I was never charged. That's why, and when he told me I will have them for you in a week, he never said $15. He never even gave me an estimate. You know, so if it was gonna be $15, I would say, I'll come in and look at it. I have a right to do that. It's all public announcements.
Let's have Jordan come in and we'll have a conversation
Okay.
together,
So
and that way.
there should be no charge on that. I've never been charged before. I was never given an estimate.
Well, there is a law that states if
I know
if it
that,
was
but
more
I'm
than that
talking-
time,
What I'm
then
saying
he has a
is,
right to charge you.
what I'm saying is extreme inability. Okay, well, we'll talk about it later, but really, that should not have taken more than an hour. I want to know, you pull 8 time cards, what do you get paid? Do you get paid bi-weekly or weekly? Okay, so there's 12 payroll slips to look at.
She's been here longer than that.
All he's gonna do is print off payroll records right off.
Yeah,
the
just,
computer.
yeah, so
Okay.
there. So it might take him 10 minutes at the most. So
Well, and
there
I
should be
don't know,
no,
I don't know exactly what you asked him for, and I don't know what he has done, so I need to have all that detail before I
Yeah.
even make any kind of decision, but we can have a meeting with, you
yeah,
know,
just have,
Jordan.
yeah,
and-
because
yeah.
that to me is a chilling effect on asking for right to knows, not to be given an estimate and then get whacked with a bill. That's just wrong.
Can I just ask you a question about that, Harrison? I just wanted to say, I wasn't being rude, but in the past, if you ask for it electronically, the only reason that you're getting charged a per page thing is if they have to print it out. If you've been asked for it electronically, we have not been charged, I can tell you that. And if you want to come in and see it, you can see it all day long and not be charged. And the only reason that he has to charge $15 an hour if it takes him longer than an hour to research it, and in the past, if they've only taken 15 minutes, they've
That's
only
another
charged you a
question to
quarter
sit
of
down and
that.
talk to Jordan about. I can't.
I mean, I'm just saying, going by what has been done with the previous treasurers and right-to-know information, they charge you quarter, you know, they don't, if they only work 15 minutes, they don't charge you $15.
We
You know,
charged
so it
other
wasn't
people in the
being
past
rude.
Depending on what we were looking for, and I do remember charging.
Yeah, but I'm just saying, as a matter of policy, you should give them an estimate in the beginning
And
before
that's
you
a good
started
thing
doing it.
to talk about, yes,
Excuse
absolutely.
me, but how do you know how long it's gonna take you until you do it?
Well, you can
Well,
say,
you
if
can
it takes more than
guesstimate,
this
just
time.
just like when you have a
I'm
house
just saying,
to,
Jordan
an
probably
addition to
didn't
put
know.
onto the
He
house.
probably didn't know.
You have a
Right.
guesstimate.
So, but we'll talk to him about it, and if you guys, you know, we can make another appointment if you come in, and we'll sit with Jordan and we'll talk about it.
Well, maybe you can
So-
resolve it yourself, who knows?
Okay.
My point with that is that I should be paying the $15 for the reasons I outlined, and I'm still waiting for that thing. So there's just a few more things here that I have. That was the biggest one. The other one is about Mr. Meehan. I'm wondering, when I was here in August, he was coming in, and I asked you, would you be talking to him about why it's taken him so long to finish this process of retiring from the Rochester Fire Department? At that point, you said, we'll be talking to him later in the night. I said, would that be an open meeting? You said yes.
It was an executive session on his part, he called it. It was a personnel matter.
And is there
And we
any,
can't discuss
was there
it.
any decision that was made
No. Well,
about,
that was a decision that we were acceptive of his
reasoning not to
reasoning
retire?
not to retire at this time.
And is there a time frame on when that would end?
He did not give us that yet.
And you can't give me any more than
I
that?
cannot.
No.
Even though at the meeting, when we had the budget, redo the budget, he said he would be 24/7 Lebanon, and that's why he wanted the 49.9.
If he wants to talk about that at that time, that's completely up to him. And I'm sure that we'll have another executive and see where he's going on that, how that's going. I do have.
Because he said
a few questions about
24/7,
it,
he's
too.
certainly not working 24/7.
You might be surprised.
Well, not for us. Okay, the next one is a little more housekeeping.
Parties out there.
One is, can you give me any update on the Naiad, the European Naiad info? I know that Milton's talking about, they're talking about a possible $30,000 cost, and then getting some grants from TPPA and other grants. You're obviously aware of this, and you planning to put an item on the budget.
The state was here 2 weeks ago. If you came to that meeting, you would have gotten all your answers.
Yeah,
He was here for a couple of hours.
We are on board with the DEP as far as, because now that our lawyer has researched our no spray agreement, she doesn't
Yeah.
believe the no spray stands.
Right.
Because, so we're just sitting back
So you'll probably
for
have
DEP. And I think they were supposed to give us something at the election. I'm not sure if they did.
There
Did
was.
they?
There was.
Thank you.
Yeah, a lot of
I
us
had
passed
it
out.
out there.
Yeah.
So you'll have a money question next spring perhaps, right?
Well, if they
Raise and
vote for it,
appropriate.
if they
Well,
vote
I'm
for
not
it.
talking to you.
if we vote for it.
Sorry.
Yeah, I mean, if we, we'll get more into talking with the DEP and see where they stand and what it's gonna cost and where we're gonna go with that, so.
There might be a brochure here that you could take home.
There is.
Um,
So the good thing
Imagine
is that, that they can, put chemicals, the DEP
Thank you.
can put the chemicals in the water without it being a no spray,
Oh, yeah, yeah,
Um,
yeah,
so,
I'm aware of that.
so that's.
So that's another one. Another one is the meeting minutes. I know that there's been some problems getting the meeting minutes up.
Anybody's welcome to come in and get our copies. We still have several, and it's just because we've been so short-handed. Sue's been working on it, Jordan's been working on it. Now, I've got to get in here because I took minutes several times. And I need to sit down with Sue so she can understand my writing, my little brief notes. Trying to take minutes and having a meeting is not pleasant. It's not the
Hard.
easiest.
Right.
It's very hard.
Yeah.
So, I need to go through my minutes with her. So there is several that are missing, and that is my error,
Well,
because I haven't had a chance to get in to do them.
I know Milton, they have a secretary, a person that just comes in and does it, and it's someone that, it's all they do, I think. They just do, maybe they get
And
15
that's
or
another
20
person
bucks.
you need to hire.
It's volunteer.
Exactly, well,
They have a volunteer lady that comes in and does their video and takes
You can't
notes.
volunteer, it's personal.
I would just consider that,
I don't think you
maybe
can
worth-
volunteer.
No.
so that
We can
someone can
consider
do it
it.
objectively
that's not-
and not worry about, that's just their job, that's all they do. And then you would approve them, obviously.
Right.
The other thing is on the meeting minutes on the website, like for the last, what we had, maybe it was like, I don't know, September, early September, but it says, say for example, says just to give an example, it might be September 5th meeting minutes, and then the date of the posting appears to be September 5th. So if you look at it, it appears like the minutes were posted that very same day. So
Yeah.
it should be September 5th meeting, minutes posted October 3rd. So
No, they
right
were-
now, I don't know when that happened.
They were
'cause it used
posted
to
November
always-
3rd.
It used to always be, it would be staggered. It would be the meeting date and the meeting, the date it was posted, maybe 3 weeks later or 4 weeks later. Now, across the board, under minutes, the dates are the same. So you don't know when they were posted.
Right.
It's not the
I'll
same
have to look at
dates.
that, I don't know, I guess I'm
don't,
not
Look,
doing it
it's not
intentionally.
Christine,
I
9/8,
mentioned that to you a couple
Nine
weeks
eight,
ago,
That's- yeah.
the same
8/22,
thing. The
8/22.
posting
They
date
are the same
is
dates.
always the same as whatever,
Yeah.
whatever you're putting
I'll
in.
look at it, I mean, it's
Yeah.
not done intentionally.
Oh, I'm not saying, because I know it just happened all of a sudden, because it like.
Well, I don't know how it happened all of a sudden, if it wasn't that way before, then something changed in there, because I
Yeah.
haven't changed anything.
Yeah, so maybe.
I do it the same way I've always done it.
Yeah, I know, but as a viewer, I notice it on the website.
So
it's
I-
nice,
I can
it's
look
nice
at
to have
it.
that historical data of perspective of when the meeting was and when it was posted. So
Yeah.
it's probably just a little glitch, that's not a big deal.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah,
and last thing is just something I just heard about tonight. I know a lot of towns are doing moratoriums on marijuana shops and bars. What's the status where Lebanon is on that?
Well, we've had quite a few people inquire about it. We haven't sat down and talked about it, which we need to. I think we probably will schedule a workshop or something and go over the moratorium maybe later this week and talk about, see if it's something that we're interested in doing. I feel it is. And not to reiterate, but, Laura sent us one from Elliott that they're getting ready to do. Waterboro's getting ready to do one, even though we already have ordinances where they could even put it, but they're gonna put even stricter ordinances in over there, so I can get a copy of theirs too. So if we schedule a workshop sometime, either, this week or by next week to get the moratorium in place, so that way we can cover ourselves and be prepared a little bit better before we go further.
And lastly, one of the things that I did get on the right to know is the list of everybody that has signed they've signed the ethics policy. They've signed the ethics policy, acknowledged they're receiving the ethics policy, and they've signed that there's no real or perceived or potential conflicts. And I was wondering why, when I got that, I didn't have Mr. Heath's or Mr. Nadeau's. Have you guys done that, or have they done that?
No comment.
Paul?
What?
Have you received your ethics
Signed
policy?
it.
Okay, it wasn't.
No.
He didn't sign it.
He signed it into law, but into
Oh, no,
ordinance,
yeah.
but not for himself personally.
Yeah, have you received the form saying that you've received a copy of the town's ethics policy?
Jesus, I don't remember.
Okay, so has anyone in the town asked you to sign it or given you the ethics policy?
Well, you were here, Deborah, when I signed it.
No, that's why I was specific with him. You signed to create the ethics policy and to have people sign it, but you did not ever sign to have it affect you personally, that you would abide by the ethics policy, that you received it, you understood it, and would abide by it. You never signed for that to affect you personally, only for you to, for it to affect other employees. That's why I was just specific with him on that answer.
So Paul, will you tell us today that you plan to sign that you received the ethics policy, and can the Board of Selectmen agree that they're gonna give them the
God,
policy?
yeah.
Excuse me?
I mean, if I signed it, isn't that enough? She was a witness.
Well, you
No,
sign to put
there's-
in play, not
Yeah, I
just,
know, but I
just to
mean,
sign it yourself, that's what they
then we'll
want.
have to,
Yeah.
What does that mean, yes or no?
no.
You won't sign that, you won't read it and acknowledge it and say whether there are any conflicts of interest or potential conflicts of interest. You won't acknowledge
I don't have no
receipt of the
conflict of
policy.
interest.
Excuse me?
I don't have a conflict of interest.
I know, but you won't, why won't you acknowledge?
Why
that
do you go through all this for the
Because
ethics
you-
policy? Because we can wipe it out with just one meeting,
God.
right? We had one before and Ben created a new one.
We didn't have one.
We didn't have one
You
before,
had one before.
You never.
Yeah, we had one.
and it wasn't Ben that created it, it was a lot of hard work from a lot of people with a lot of input.
Well, know?
You know, the only people that worry about the ethic policy, people out there don't give a damn about the ethic policy.
Maybe, Paul, you need to go talk to some other people in town
I
besides your
talked to a
friends,
lot of
because-
people and,
Right, at the dump, but you
I
know what?
mean,
A lot of
nobody
other people
mentioned
have
it.
ideas.
And Royce, why won't you even acknowledge that you received the?
No
ethics
comment.
policy? And after signing. the
No
ethics-
comment.
Why would you be
And
that
I
way
have
to
no
the-
comment on that.
Why would you not give a comment, Royce? You signed it in the law.
What is it you don't understand about no comment? I
don't
don't
know.
have one
I
to
don't-
give you,
I
so
don't-
there you
I
are.
don't understand why
That's
you
the way
would
it's
sign
gonna be,
something.
and you can ask forever and ever, as far as I'm concerned. It'll still be no comment, okay?
The only
So you should never have to ask me again, is it plain?
I believe that what you're doing is denigrating to the people of Lebanon because you don't give them the respect that they deserve.
I disagree with you, and so therefore it's no comment to you.
And to the people of Lebanon?
Do you understand? No comment,
No, I
Harrison.
said, how
Let's
about to
not-
the people of Lebanon?
Let's not get out of hand, nobody wants to
Yes,
talk
he's
about
way
it.
out of
I
line.
know, I'm just saying.
You shouldn't be speaking for other people of Lebanon, they can speak for themselves.
That's right.
Is that all you have, Harrison?
Yes.
Other business? Dana?
There's been people who have been concerned about traffic accidents and problems. There is a traffic light at Depot Road. There's
Yeah.
a traffic light down at
Hubbard Road.
Hubbard Road. There is no traffic light at Center Road.
There's
There
a,
have been accidents at that point. I'd like to have the selectmen investigate and see what can be done.
you mean Long Swamp and Center?
Yes.
Yeah.
There's that special light down there, so.
You
watch
can't
out.
count on that, oh my
That's a
God.
traffic control.
Do not count on that
Yeah,
light.
but it's not a traffic light, Royce.
By the state of
That's not
Maine.
accurate
That's a
lighting.
traffic
Well, we
Count
can
on
ask, that's a state road, so we would have to ask them, and they would have to
I
really,
think they've been asked before.
Yeah, it doesn't tell you the truth.
I mean, we can ask
Would you
them, but
investigate?
that's why they put that up, because that had come up before. They put that special one up, and,
Sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't.
Yeah, if people go by that, you're gonna have a lot more deaths.
so,
There was a plan at some point, a tentative, do we even get a money figure on that, Ben, about extending that intersection down past the curve?
Yeah, there was discussion at the time.
That's when they were paving, I think.
Right, there's $1 million matching grant, so you could change the intersection so they didn't match up, but the town would have to put up 50%. The state would match it up to $1 million. It's a good deal, but
you
you're
can
gonna
afford
have to
it.
cough up some money up front.
so, I mean, we can contact DOT and see, you can just tell them that we had, concerned citizens again on that corner and see what they give us for stats of accidents right there again, but I don't think they're gonna.
They do it themselves.
you-
Right.
Not enough in the conversation at the time when it was being paved was
No,
that.
and they
you-
put those lights
you
up
could-
already.
You could say to put one in, but you're gonna pay for it.
Yeah.
They won't do it.
I mean,
I get, also, when the guys were here just a couple of weeks ago, they said they don't base it off of like how many accidents there are. They base it on how many accidents per vehicle. So recently, I did notice that they had study strips out there, tracking. We went over, I noticed that they had them there, so they may be gonna evaluate that, and that's something that we can ask them for the numbers, but they kinda do it when they want. But I did notice there were study strips all up and down 202.
Well, they're
What
everywhere,
about,
though. Near
about
trains.
2 weeks ago? Yeah, near trains, and then the other way up towards Fairfield. Yeah, so I think they may be reevaluating that, but they don't base it on how many accidents. You could tell them I had 100 accidents at that intersection, but they base it on the percentage of accidents per vehicles that travel that road, right? Wasn't that the conversation that the guy had, Mr. Shapiro, and when he was here, and Dan Meehan and Mike Bulio, when they had that conversation just a couple weeks ago?
well, it was quite a while ago, but yeah, they had
Oh,
talked
it's-
about accidents and, when they've gone by, it's, yes, so they did talk about a lot of, yeah, I know.
Thank you,
My brain's all
Christine.
bad because I've been so much
Confused me.
going on, but yes, they did talk about how they picture pick out where they would fix things and not fix things. But we can mention it to them, we can call them, but I don't, when they have that flashing light, that's why they put that light up there, because we had so many issues right there. So, I mean, I don't know what else we can do to make that safer, unless they, we'll talk about it with them, and then we can go from there, so, yeah.
Thank you.
There's one thing, the selectmen have to put a question on the next time we vote, asking the people of Lebanon for money for the Naiad for a 3-year plan.
That's what it is. But they need a 3-year plan in Milton. They were talking about a 1-year plan, but that might not be enough. I think they're gonna try to do it on a year-by-year basis.
It's a 3-year plan.
Yeah, they wanted our commitment for 3-year plan because it's a continuing thing, like
Oh, yeah.
they can only get so much of it the first year. I don't, go ahead.
No, I'll just let me know I have a question before she adjourns, but.
Oh, yeah,
First,
all right.
go for it.
Okay, so my question tonight it was in regards to the union and the transfer station. So I already asked you once, and that was actually part of my question, was going forward and creating a new job space when Ronnie leaves, where are you going to put your new guy? A lead is, so there are several places that you can go with the union. The union wants you to have a department head, they want you to have a manager or a supervisor.
Now that I know, I really just can't talk about all that stuff. Would be negotiations, and I can't talk about it.
I understand negotiations with a single person. What I'm asking you is, you're offering him a position, and that position should be public. Are you offering a position of department head? Are you offering a position of manager? Or are you offering a position of supervisor? What position are you offering? That should be public knowledge. That's not negotiation.
A lead person position, that's all. It has nothing to do with supervising, has nothing to do with anything. We haven't.
So he would just be an employee, he has no supervisory, so who would be supervising the Lebanon transfer station?
Selectmen.
So the selectmen are now the boss of the Lebanon transfer station?
Yes.
So what if
At this
you,
point, yes.
so when Paul is there sitting in that little building on Saturdays, that's who's the boss, would be kind of
I'm
Paul?
not gonna even
When
say
would you
that.
see me there?
You're there every Saturday.
Saturday?
Yes, Paul.
Saturday morning to put the sun.
Okay, so Saturdays.
7 o'clock.
No, that's right. It doesn't matter. You're there every Saturday, so that's because you don't go in. He's there every single Saturday.
That's,
But that's what I'm asking is, so now you'll have a bunch of employees working at the Lebanon transfer station and no
I
manager.
haven't figured that all out yet. How about if I leave it at that at this point? It just happened. We just got his resignation. He just left. So we're still working on that, but that's where we're at.
But that is public knowledge, how you're going to restructure that, right? So that can be a conversation for the future and how you're going to, because here's my question. So we have two fellas, no disrespect, that worked at the Lebanon transfer station for years, one who still goes there quite often. And then we have one selectman, no disrespect, who is friends with union members of the Teamsters, Union 340, and who is friends with the Union Teamsters 340 representative, Tracy. So we have three selectmen that really by design should not be negotiating on behalf of the town for the union and the transfer station. So what I wanted to speak to you about tonight is perhaps putting together a committee of people from separate areas of the town that would be responsible for overseeing those negotiations and making representations to you. And I'm not saying I want to sit on it, so you don't have to worry about that. What I'm saying is that I personally don't believe in my heart, and I would have to follow through with it if the three of you entered into negotiations for the town,
Let me clarify
union,
something
and
right
transfer
now.
station.
When I became select person, I took an oath.
Mm-hmm.
My oath states that I do what I'm supposed to do as a select person.
Right.
I've done things in here that people would have never thought I would have done. I hired Ben after all of our arguments and honest goodness, as an
I don't think you had a lot of choice at that point.
I still did. And we've worked with
Well, you didn't do it. The three of you did it.
Yes, that's right. But we still did it. And we're going to do things that we believe is right. The
Mhm.
union, we're not gonna talk about, we're just not, we can't talk about any of that part, restructuring.
Well, you can't talk about the negotiations, that's not what I'm asking you. I'm asking you if you would be willing to consider, since we have two
I
longtime
would
transfer
not.
station employees
No, because
and a
we
friend
took
of
an
the
oath to do
union.
what's best for the town.
Paul wants to talk.
We took an oath to do what's best for the town, I would not. They don't need to be involved in all the personal issues, that's why we're here. And I don't believe we would.
Deb?
Uh-huh,
The lawyer negotiates for it
Yes,
with the union.
that's
Mhm.
correct.
It's not us.
it is you, you have to negotiate with the union, you're not outside of that. Of course you are, you're the selectman of the town.
But I'm gonna do what's best, we're gonna do what's best for the town, not what's best for us personally. That's not why we're here. So we don't need a committee to help us do that.
Okay, I just was curious because I was very concerned about how you would, and again, I know you can't talk about certain dollars and cents. I'm just curious about how you would say there was no conflict of interest when there are obvious. You were in this union for a long time. Your friends are in this union, and Paul and Royce were transfer station employees for a very long time. So I'm just curious as to the huge seeming conflict of interest in why you won't even think about having a committee or an outside agency responsible
This
for
is
that.
our job, we are selectmen and we are
I
elected
don't
by the
think,
people.
I don't think it would be allowed by the what
The
is it,
lawyers
the
and
national,
and labor
the
board
labor board, they
and
would
all
never
that stuff.
allow another group to come in and get into those negotiations.
Committees
Never.
happen all the time in negotiations,
not-
sure they do.
not-
Labor negotiations committees, absolutely, all the time.
I've never seen one knife,
I think
No,
we'll be
okay.
fine.
Unions.
I know we'll be fine, so.
Okay. Well, it was the
know.
Department of Labor Relations that suggested that to me, Betty, so
Yes, Sean?
I'm not completely retarded.
I just wanted to chime in tonight, I know Harrison touched on it with the moratorium
Yes.
in regards to marijuana, question one. I know I had addressed the board, what was it, last week, week
Yes.
before?
Week before.
Yes, because of elections. I just kind of want to be kept in the loop in that, if I could just ask that question, or hopefully get that
Yeah,
response.
if we're gonna talk about, we're gonna have to set up a workshop, and we should do that.
The planning board is meeting on the 18th, and I believe it's a workshop. I know that Mike has brought it to the
On a
planning.
Friday?
On a Friday, yes. If you're willing to come, or if any members of the board would like to come, I know that we're talking about that, as well as comprehensive planning is coming up again. I would just like to be able to start working in unison so we can get some things moving.
Oh, that's a good idea.
What time?
You guys,
The planning board meeting
6
starts at
o'clock,
6 o'clock.
yes.
I'm gonna be a little late to that because of work-related issues, but such is life. You're welcome.
Hi, Sean, I didn't even see you come in.
I've been here.
Friday night? We have our, I had Thursday night. Do you want to meet Friday night with the planning board?
What time, 6?
6,
Where?
here. It's on our paper. And then we
If you
can,
guys can't make that one, I know we have it the first Thursday of every month. So if you want to come in December, I could definitely talk to Jen, talk with Paul, and try to see if we can place something on the agenda so we can move this forward.
well, we need to do it in the next couple of weeks, because
Absolutely.
things are moving on quickly, and we need to get a moratorium in here.
Absolutely, and like I mentioned to you before, with the moratorium, it's up to the select board. There's no town vote involved in that. It
Yes.
allows you to put that pause on it. I know we're definitely going to be working to get some kind of ordinance in place regarding it, and I just want to make sure everybody's on the same page.
And am I right, I think this has happened in the past, like, at some other time when I might have been reporting, that if you wait until someone makes an official application for a marijuana bar and you don't have an ordinance in place, it can be a very sticky wicket.
Absolutely.
So that's why it's really important
We
to
get the
jump on
moratorium
it.
at least, and then we get an ordinance, yes,
Exactly.
we need to
Yeah.
do that, I mean, that's.
So is he saying that they can choose that these people can't build
Yeah,
there?
you wanna come on Friday?
No.
No.
Talk about the moratorium with them, with the planning board, you good? You good?
Okay.
Yeah, that's a question, yeah.
Okay, so going back to the cemetery road question, scanning through emails, brought up other cemetery emails in there. So now my question is, where is the board at on Prospect Hill Cemetery?
I'm joking.
And I know you probably don't have an answer, but at least I'm putting it in the forefront of your brains.
I do not have an answer. I did get some literature, I don't know where now, it's in my pile. But no, I do not have an answer. I think the lawyers were still working on it. But I
That's
can
what she
find out.
always says.
I just have one small thing, if I may.
Yes,
I think we really need to look at a comprehensive plan with this new thing that, I think 202 is gonna be like blow up and we're
Oh,
not
yeah.
gonna get our tax funds without a comprehensive plan. We're also missing out on a lot of money that we could get for nothing. I know it's expensive, but how can you get it approved? How can you do that? Is there an easy way out besides a vote?
Nope.
No. Ugh. It's gotta go to vote.
yes.
And it's
Just like a charter,
$3,200 or something like
You know,
that.
if you
to
decide to
start.
do a charter, it's the same way, that would have to go by a vote, it's the same,
Will you consider doing that?
a comprehensive plan. How long, you'd have to really get that, you'd have to get
Get those costs again.
people together and.
It's like a 2 or 3 year process to
I
create.
know, we need to hire someone to do it.
Yeah.
We
Here's
need to hire
information.
someone to do it. There's nobody unless you're a professional.
Who are you?
Oh, they are?
Information.
I'm sorry.
You
You
know,
are doing it.
we're in the process. I mean, I know Mike has brought it to the select board and Mike has brought it to the planning board. We've been receiving a lot of information regarding comprehensive plans. It's a project. It is a project, but it's gonna take more than just a planning board, more than just a select board to get something like this done. If the town's really serious, we have to reach out and create a committee willing to work with us to get the information and data values that we need in order to do this.
I understand that, and when we looked at it before, we really realized that there are not people that are capable of doing that. You really need the professional person to do it. I can say I'll be happy to look up something, but it's not gonna meet what we need. It really is going to take a professional to write that.
No, absolutely.
Am
We're
I
not gonna
correct?
be the ones
Okay.
writing the
All
whole
right.
plan, but, we're putting the legwork in. We obviously are gonna need professionals in order to get this done, especially when it comes to the
I mean, we got-
legalities of certain things, because
We
within
had a price at one time, Ben, right?
Yeah, and
Yep.
That's been the price.
Let's put that on the vote too.
That is my question.
knock the price down.
I'm
Right.
happy now because I
we have to talk, I know Southern Maine Planning has reached out and said, yeah, they're saying they're still willing to help us.
Yeah, but they voted to the last vote, wasn't it, Ben? People voted not to pay it anymore.
Not this past one, I think.
The one before, yeah.
Quick question.
Okay.
A couple of weeks ago, Mike came in and said that they were gonna be building one of those facilities on TM Wentworth. And he said the other lot was gonna be something for Halloween.
Haunted
Now, is that a
Halloween.
joke, or is it true?
That's what they've told him.
That's what they told him, or is it true?
But we don't have a building, we don't have a business license here that holds them to that. They can have whatever they want in that building once
So they
it's
can
built.
say they're gonna open up an amusement park, and it could be an adult store or something like that. It's,
Yes.
oh,
Are we good?
no.
We could. Oh, yeah, we rock.
I make a motion.
Maybe there's some lawyers in town.
That was so
Vote, make them do it free.